Alright, so on the operating table this evening we've got this chainsaw, the handy, as it's so called, 38cc chainsaw. I did actually get this going. I say get going, it actually worked. A little bit of a backstory on this chainsaw. Somebody gave it to me. I was having a chat with a bloke at work. Turns out he used to be a tree surgeon. So we was having a chat about trees and chainsaws and stuff, and he turned around and said, "Oh, I've actually got a chainsaw at home. I don't think it runs. It's nearly new." Well, it was. Sat in the shed for about 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. It's new though, you know, it's just not as, it's only been used once. And it stopped running, put it in the shed, never got round to fixing it. So he gave it to me. Well, when I got it home, as you'll see in the video if you saw it, I literally put petrol in it because it was bone dry, and it fired straight up and it ran like a dream. And I thought, brilliant, that's the end of that. But I went to use it. In fact, I need to use it tomorrow, and started it up, but it'll run for a while, but then it'll stop running. It'll run out of fuel, it'll run out of petrol, and it will die. But then you can start it straight up again immediately, and it will carry on, and it will run again for another 5 to 10 seconds before it will run out of petrol and die again. And the same happens. You can start it up immediately straight after. It will run, it will rev, it will tick over, it will do the lot, but it'll only run for about 10 seconds at a time. And you don't have to reprime it either. So there's obviously an issue there with the fuel, with the petrol. Maybe it's with the filter on the end of the pipe. Maybe it's something to do with the diaphragm and the carburetor. I don't know. But I'll show you what it does in a minute. I've already tried it. I was hoping it might miraculously fix itself over a few nights. If I leave it to sit on the floor, it might decide it wants to be fine. But that wasn't the case. I've already tried it. That's why it's quite smoky in here. But let me show you what it does, and then we can take it apart and see if we can fix it. Give it a bit of a prime this time, maybe. And it will just continue in that process. Sometimes you might not have to prime it again, sometimes you do. Either way, it'll run for a few seconds perfectly fine, wonderful, and then it'll just stop. So there's obviously an issue with it sucking up the petrol. So let's take it apart and see if we can find out what that is. And hopefully it's not a diaphragm in the carb, because I haven't got any of them. So what we'll do, we'll just take the air filter off, make sure there's no rats living in there. By the way, I will point out that the engine was already hot, warm, before I just done that, revving it up, because I'd been trying it before. So it was already hot. It wasn't a cold engine. You know, loads of you are going to go, "Well, it's cold, isn't it? And of course it's not going to rev properly, it's cold." It wasn't cold. Alright. So there's the poor excuse for an air filter. I don't know why manufacturers of chainsaws put these little gauze things as air filters. You see this on a lot of chainsaws, man. It just seems daft to me, because a chainsaw is primarily used with a lot of sawdust. I know some people will argue, well, it's not fine dust, is it? It's thicker dust. It shouldn't be flying around in the air, but it still seems like a daft thing to me. Anyway, so that is the fuel line. That looks like a return line going in. And there's the petrol line there at the top. Hopefully we can see that. Now, I reckon, I don't think it's an issue with this car. I think the issue is with this little filter, which is on the end. At least it should be on the end of that petrol pipe, but we're currently full of petrol. So if you just bear with me, we will drain all of the petrol into a can, and That way we can examine the filter. There's no point in taking apart. I'll use that one, it's a bit dirty that one. There's no point in taking the carb apart if the problem may be in here. So always start with the easy things and work your way up to the more difficult things. Right. Now we've made a huge mess, let's have a little tidy up. Brings me back to the first days, the first. Not very good. It brings me back to the first days of this YouTube channel. The first days of this channel. All I did was repair chainsaws, trimmers, lawnmowers, etc. Bloody hell. My torch is running out of battery. Let's see, what have we got in here? Let's get rid of this. Okay. Well, that could be that could potentially be the problem. Let me see if I can. My torch is properly running out of battery, but let's see if I can show you. So I don't know if I can show you this very well. That torch is well out of battery. That's no good, is it? So might be able to see down in there. There's the little filter. Hopefully you can see that. But the petrol line comes around there and it's not even on it. There's the little filter down there in the bottom. Just sitting there doing nothing. And there's the end of the petrol line. Oh, can't see, can you? There it is. So, I don't know if that would cause the problem that we've got, because if the petrol line is there, it is sucking up the petrol. The filter's just not doing anything, so it's not having a filter. But I suppose that petrol line could be sort of floating around, I don't know. But the first thing we need to do is fish out that bit of line, fish out the filter and reattach that, and then we can see if that's going to make a difference. But I don't know if it will, because I think it's, my suspicion was that the end of the petrol line, the petrol pipe, might have been up out of the way, so it wasn't sucking in very much fuel all the time. But let's fish that out and see if we can reattach the filter and have a look while we're at it to see if the end of the line, because what can happen is it could have a crack up the top of the line somewhere. So it gets a bit of petrol, but then the minute you move it around a bit or whatever, it sucks in a bit of air, and then you get the problem we've got. So let's have a look. Let's get this, see if we can get it with a screwdriver. I better get these pliers in there. Oh, there we go. I've got that. I had it then. Let's see if we can get the filter to come out. There it is. Oh, it is attached. It is attached. It's attached to the black one. So there's a black line here, and there's also a see-through line. Normally the see-through one is your feed. Okay, fair enough. So it is attached. It's attached to that. It doesn't look particularly dirty in any way. It looks alright. Let's have a look to see what this other line is, this other pipe's doing. Got this other pipe here. See if we can fish this one out. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. You can't get it. Looks to me, that might even be kinked. That might even have a kink in that. Let's have a look. So that looks to me there that there might be a kink in that black line. Can you see that there? It looks like it's kinked. That's strange that that is attached to that black one. Whereas normally you would think that one would be the feed. But that one has got nothing on the end of it, and they both go into the tank. So obviously one is a return or a vent, but that looks like that might be kinked there. So let me undo those bolts and we can see whether that's kinked or not. So it's definitely kinked. You can see there's a little hole there where it should go, but it wasn't. It was in there. It was kinked in there. So I'm going to put it back in that little hole where it should live, and then I can do these bolts back up. And if that's the only problem, man, that is going to be... I must say, I don't know whether that's a vent or whether it sucks it in through there. Either way, it's not supposed to be like that. I'm going to put that in that little hole, do it up, put some more petrol in the tank, and we'll see if that's fixed it, because I can't see it being an issue with that. He said to me that he bought it brand new. He'd done a job with it, his neighbour's tree or something, but then it stopped running and it wouldn't start, so he left it. That's what he said. He never said he took it apart, never said he tried anything, but it doesn't, just because someone said they didn't take something apart, don't mean they didn't take it apart. There's a very high chance that he did take it apart to try and fix it and kink that line, so this might not be the problem, you know. I don't mean kinked either, I mean caught, you know, like nipped it. I kept saying kinked, didn't I? It's not kinked. Kinked is when it's kinked, you know, not like that. But anyway, there's a chance that he done that, and that's not the problem. But let's put that in there and see if we can. Well, that might fix it. You never know. Right. So as you can see there, I put that in that little hole, that little groove where that looks like that's definitely supposed to go. That moves freely in and out of there now. So let's put that back in there, stick some petrol in that tank and see if it's fixed it. Well, my hopes are high, but I'm not sure that I think that this is actually going to have fixed it. I think, I don't know, it was definitely kinked. There's no doubt about that. That was 100% definitely kinked. But do I think that was the actual problem? And it wasn't even kinked, was it? It was just trapped. Was that the whole problem the whole time? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's fire her up and see if she's going to stay running now that we've put that little bit of petrol pipe where it's supposed to be. Let's give her a primage. We'll try with no choke. he's done it. Well, it's definitely 100 times better than it was. I mean, at least it runs for a long time now. Gets very, very, very hot. That's actually sizzling, man. It's actually sizzling. Can you see the smoke coming up from there? That is mentally hot. Wasn't even doing any work, was it? But yeah, so it's 100 times better than it was. It runs for a length of time. I think it needs a little bit of a tune. So I'm going to get a screwdriver and I'm going to tune that a little bit. I think it needs to go a little bit richer. So bear with me for a moment. Right, so I've adjusted that ever so slightly. So it should be a little bit richer on the low speed now. Doesn't want to tick over now though. So I was playing around with it and I was looking at the pipes, and when it's running you can see air bubbles start to go up into that see-through pipe, and then it conks out, runs out, it goes lean and it runs out. So I think there's definitely an issue. It's not in, I don't think the issue's in the carb. So I've got a little bag of these filters and I'm going to put a new filter on it. The trouble is I don't know if it's going to fit on the end of that bit of pipe. Might have to cut the pipe. It's got like this weird little fitting thing on the end there, but it might work. We'll put a new filter on here. Yeah, that'll fit. We'll stick a new filter on and we'll see if that makes a difference. Perhaps the old filter's blocked up. There we go. So we've got a brand new filter on there now. We'll see if that's going to make any difference. Where's that lid? It's used a lot of petrol in that little run. That I filled that over the top. You saw it all overflow. And now look, it's used over a quarter of a tank in that little run. That's mad. Anyway, that old filter, that's heavy. It's very, very heavy. I know it's probably full of petrol, but there's nothing coming out of it, look. But it is very, very heavy. Hopefully, that is just blocked up. Let's see now. This is our see-through line, and that's the black one there, which the filter is attached to. So if we prime it, That's complete. There's a few bubbles in there, but now that's completely full up with petrol. Start her up. Running a lot better. Move it to the floor. Running a lot better than she was now. Gives you a rev. And we're getting our lean again. That weren't me doing that either. That was doing that by itself. So it runs alright, then all of a sudden it goes lean. But we've got no bubbles in there. So I don't think that's the problem. The problem is probably inside this carburetor now. That wasn't me doing that either. Just trying to get these little needles back to roughly where they were before I turned them. Because it did run alright like that for a little while, didn't it? I wonder if it'll need a prime now. Yeah, see? It's completely lost its prime. So we've still got a fuel suction issue. Got a bit of a fuel suction problem. Right, let's have a little play with it. Alright, well I was about to call it a night on this one, and then I was just rummaging around in the drawers and I found a load more gaskets and other bits and bobs. I knew I had some, but I found some more as well. So we've got a bag here, got a bag here, we've got a bag here. So I'm thinking to myself, I got this other carburetor as well. This is, I don't know what it was, it come in this box. It's like a copy of a Walbro, but it's not identical to the one that's on this chainsaw, so I can't even change it over because it'll need a different linkage and things for the choke, and the throttle's a different linkage as well. So that's that. Can't change that over. But this is the top off of the carb that's on this chainsaw. And for some reason it's got Z stamped on it. Don't know why it's got a Z stamped on there for, but so this is the little diaphragm that goes on there. And I thought to myself, let's change this over, because it is a little bit, although this is quite a new chainsaw, when it stopped working, it was only about a month old when it stopped working. It's now 6 years old, but when it stopped working it was about a month old. But this diaphragm isn't, this one here is a little bit, it's not exactly pliable. So I thought, let's have a look. There's not really one in there, I don't think. I don't know what we've got here. Might have one in this little bag that doesn't want to open. Got some washers, got some needles and seats. Don't want to come apart. There it goes. That's a diaphragm and that's a gasket. So what I need is I need one. No, that's different. That's different. So that's not going to be any good. About this one. No. That looks like it might be the same. That one there is the same, and you lot can't see it, it's completely out of shot, but that one there is identical to our one that we've got there. Now we need to find a gasket. Here's a new gasket. Is that the same? No, it's got a different hole at the bottom. That one looks the same. There we go, so we've got them two. So let's put these on and we'll see if it makes a difference. If it doesn't, I'll take the whole carb off and we will replace the whole lot at the bottom on the other side of the carb. There's two pieces. We'll replace the whole lot on the other side if this doesn't make a difference. To be honest, something's telling me that it ain't gonna make much of a difference at all, if any. But you know, you got to try things. If you don't try things, you'll never know if they're gonna work or not. Oops. I was about to call it a night on this as well because it's getting quite late now. But we'll just try this one thing. That's why I thought to myself, I'll just try this because it is getting late. I am going to call it a night soon. But we'll just try this. And then, like I say, if not, we'll come back and take the whole carb off and investigate the whole lot. See if we can come across any issues. But let's see if we'll get a bit of a better primage now. Let's take her to the floor. Here we go. Lost the whole lot now. Don't want to run at all now. Let's try with the choke. Oh, that didn't go very well. Shouldn't need the choke. It's bloody still red hot. I've just broken the little thing, I think. Oh, that didn't go well. How did that go then? Right. Oh no, it's even worse than it was. It's probably because I played around with these jets. I'm just playing in the dark really here now. It's getting better. Still think that we've got other issues though. Still think we've got other issues. Still got other issues. That carb needs to come off. Well, it's a few weeks later now, and I've had other stuff to do. I haven't been able to get to this anymore. I think the last time I got this running, it was running intermittently, wasn't it? It would run all right, and then it'd stop, then it'd be fine again, then it'd stop. So I haven't actually got any more spare gaskets or anything for that carburetor, so I'm going to have to put this to the side for a minute. I've got other stuff to do, but we will continue this another day, and we'll get this running absolutely spot on. Don't worry about that. Thanks for watching what you did of this. It will probably appear again at some point in the hopefully near future. I've just got a lot of other stuff I need to do, and I didn't want this sitting on the bench in parts, and I didn't want the half-finished video, so we'll just finish it off there. But it does run. It runs well when it runs. I think there's probably... I think there's definitely an issue there with it getting the petrol, because it get it when it, and then when it can't quite suck it up. So the diaphragm in that carburetor is probably a bit weak, because it's probably gone a bit hard. It's not really flapping around as much as it should do to suck in that petrol and pump it around. Although you do get the vacuum from the piston and everything, but I've checked all the, there's no blockages in any of the pipes, unless there's a little hole and it's sucking in air. That could be another issue. There could be a hole in the petrol pipe, which is sucking in air as well as the petrol, and it can't quite get the petrol in, which could be why it runs out. I might need to take the whole petrol pipe off and put a new one on. That could also be the issue. But I haven't got enough time to fanny around with it. I haven't got enough time to sit here talking about it. I've got other little projects to do, other little jobs to do. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you on another one, and all the best, everybody. Treat everybody how you want to be treated, and we'll all have a happy life. Cheerio.